Shalom, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shabbat, a thumb to my brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shema Alathah Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shah to my sisters. I am Officer of 1,000 Bashar, and we are the ISUPK. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and we are under Commanding General Yohana. And we started in 1969 and under Commander General Yohana. We've been going, traversing the earth, teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives who they really are according to the Bible and who we are. We are the lost children of Israel as found in the Bible. As found in the Bible. First thing I need you to do, that if you can hear me, I need to get a 1 in the chat room. If you can hear me, I need to get a 1 in the chat room. There's going to be a delay here in class, so if you can put your headphone in and listen for that. Okay. We got 3 people watching. And if you can hear me on your phone, I need to make sure that this volume is okay. I need to make sure that the volume is okay. And then we're going to get started. Abawan, you need to have a headpiece on, sir.
Slack out of one, I'll go grab one.
Double times. There's one right back here.
Hello, kind sir.
What's your name, brother?
Vince.
Vince. And for Vince, the reason we do that is that we are priests and prophets of the Most High, and we have a respect for the word of the Most High. We have a respect for the word of the Most High. We don't delve into this word with our heads uncovered, but we wear what's called the mitri, and you see our crowns are open. And it is our hold any class. When you come in, you will have if you come into the school, they'll tell you about headpieces and the mitri and all that. If you're coming into the school, you need to get you a set of all black. When we first come into the school, it's about all black. Still waiting for other folks to check in real quick. We're gonna run about a good hour. We're gonna run about a good hour. Normally, I have a number of people check in. This is what we want right here. Let's see who wants to hit. Okay, I see Shemayim's in the class. I see that. And like I say, if you can hear me, I need a 1. It sounds like from my phone we're doing pretty good. Now let me explain about this Lashawan Qadash. Let me explain. Lashawan Qadash, this is the holy word. In the class we teach here in the Detroit school, this is a very basic class. The reason we teach the holy word because this is our language. What it is the ancient Hebrew. The way we write it, and we learn both, we teach both the Assyrian and the ancient. The ancient is kind of like printing. Where the Assyrian, you would associate that with kind of like cursive writing. But we teach the Assyrian, why? Because you're going to find Hebrew text, you're going to find Bibles and people speaking the Hebrew text written in the Assyrian as well. But what we start here, especially since we got people in for the first time, we start with the basics, which is the ancient. And some other bases. 1, we're a language that writes from right to left. You're used to, in America, you write from left to right. But in Hebrew, we write right to left. This right here, why it looks like all crazy, this is really the Lashawan Qadash. All right, this is actually what this says. These are our letters in our language. And what we do is we start off with teaching the alphabet, if nothing else. That's what we're going to, and we're going to go over that today. I'm watching for comments back here. I'm gonna need somebody to keep an eye back there because I'm gonna be asking questions, and there's some sisters that got pretty good that's gonna show up. So what we're gonna do now, and this is why I asked everybody to need to have a pencil or something to write down, because you can't get good if you don't write this. I can sit up here all day and write this. So I'm gonna write it. I'm gonna erase it. Get me paper towel, toilet paper, something.
Come on, concert.
Right, because, or see if there's an eraser back there. I just noticed we didn't get an eraser, but that's okay. Should be an eraser back there. But we're gonna start with the alphabet. Let's see if we can see that. Huh. This is the I. And again, it's best to be in this class every week, because we're gonna move on. We start over. We start over, but we're gonna move on. Break it up. And we're gonna move on. I. Ba. Ga. Da. Ha. Ba, ga, da, ha. All right? Those are the first five. And what we're doing, when you hear me call off the name of the character, when you hear me call off the name of the character, it's the sound that the character makes. We say A, B, C, D, E, F, G in English. But we say here, ba. I don't say A, B, G, D, H. No, I give you the sound that the character makes. Why? Because when you see that, you know this is a I, and you see it appear in the word, you know just to say I. You see? Or if you see that's a ba and it appear in the word, then you just say that. So what we're giving you is a sound that the character make. If you get these highfalutin books and stuff, they're gonna tell you this is the aleph and the bayeth or whatever. I go ba, ga, da, ha. You know, we Israelites, we true Israelites, we keep it to where it's what? Functional in what it does. Functional in what it does. What I mean by that? Kind of like when the Christian world got so-called Adam and Eve sitting in the garden with a snake and a damn apple, right? And they said this is the religious representation of Genesis. But in the hood, what is a snake? Okay, Vince.
In the hood, what is a snake?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that's deceitful.
Somebody that's what?
Deceitful.
That's right. Somebody that's deceitful. You're a snake. You know he ain't no good. So when you see the serpent in the garden, you know Eve in the hood, if you use your hood sense, you know Eve talked to a man that was what? Deceitful. A snake. She was talking to a damn snake. You see. So we're not going to get on the all that highfalutin so-called college level nonsense. Ba, ga, da, ha. All right? The next one's after that is the wa, the za, right? The kha. Notice that. And now I need something to erase. The only reason I'm doing that, and we're going to get to that when I'm doing here, it's just in the way right now. Okay, the za, the ka, ta, and the ya. Okay? Come on, be still. Yes, sir.
Just recently, I had offered into my household a challenge, let's learn a new language, and I think I found it. And so since I understand, this is gonna be very fun and interesting.
Oh yeah, I find it. See, what motivated me at first, when I first started learning this, it was the fact that I could go into a store and say, and see one of my brothers say, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and he'd respond, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, and people would look at us and wouldn't know what we were saying. Even the Arabs wouldn't know what we were saying. The East Indians don't know what we're saying. So they can't get in our business. You know, when you're talking among brothers, right? And I'm gonna show you how disrespected we are. In America, we could be any place, me, you, whoever, and we're talking. And you know a damn East Indian will jump up and have an opinion about our conversation. We wasn't talking to him, but he'll have an opinion. When we speak our own language that they don't know, then they can't have an opinion because they don't know what they're listening to. You see what I'm saying? They can't have an opinion. The ta, and this is the ya. Now, with some of these symbols, I need you to start looking at and trying to recognize. That's why I encourage people to write them down. Ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka. You hear that guttural sound? Ka, because that's not to be confused with the ka. Whole different letter. Ta, not to be confused with the tha. And you'll see why. And the ya. Now some of these, you see this right here, and I like to do this. There's a thing out there in jewelry. We know what it is. We call it the Dawadah. We call it the Dawadah. The Magan Dawadah, or the shield of David. Magan is Hebrew for shield. The Magan Dawadah. That's the shield of David, right? You know what they call it? They call it the Star of David. It's not a star. And they'll come up with a million different reasons of why this symbol is what it is. You see it in everything. You see it back there. It's the Dawadah. This is all it is. Dawadah. Dawadah. This is all it is. This is the Da, right? That's the Da. That's the Da. All you do is take a second Da, flip it upside down, and lay it on top of this one. Watch what you get. That ain't. Look, let me show you something. Let me show you something. This is definitely an indication. The using of a Dawadah to me seems like you got to be a nigga to come up with something like that. Why? It was 6 of us growing up. And so, you know what mama didn't want to do, and daddy didn't want to do, right? Keep buying shit because our shit got stolen when we were little at school and stuff like that. So what did she do? She marked everything. She marked our clothes because you go to school, kids have the same, and guess what? In my household, the mark looks something like this. I got 3 sisters still alive. And I don't know how many nieces and nephews, right? But if they saw this anywhere, knowing the way my sisters are, they would automatically know. My son automatically know this. Whatever this is, whatever they find this mark on, it belongs to our family. Now, my mama called it the Star of David. I'm sure my mama didn't know anything about the Lashawan Qadash. You see what I'm saying? Niggas do things the way niggas do. I don't care if it was during David's time or if it's in 2020, niggas gonna always do. And watch this, it'll only take a nigga to figure out what that is. I ain't gonna tell nobody. I know what it is. But if they see this right here, if they see it, if anybody in my family see this, they're gonna know this is from our family, our bloodline. You see, that's what the Dawadah was. It was the shield or the mark of David. It was David's mark, you see. And I've just thought that's so important to let you know that there's a whole bunch of stuff that's been taken away from you consciously, but subconsciously it stayed with us. You know, it stayed with us. The using marks, the die will die. You know, go ahead, Vince.
Was David rich? Was he a rich man?
Initially, David was he was a sheep herder, and David went from being working for his father to being favorite of the king.
I asked that question because, well, I know how history has been translated, and so just immediately it said to me he first was a worker and then he was a favorite of the king.
Mm-hmm.
So the star, the shield, represent the LLC, and they took that and flipped it and made it and turned it into business. You see how it?
Would you say that again?
Well, the Star of David is a symbol, but it's a shield. It's a shield that he created himself.
It's his mark. It's his
mark.
shield.
So when I asked you, was he rich? Because it just seemed like he just was moving fast in his brand.
Okay, let's find out how David went from being a shepherd boy to being one of the most prominent men and we're gonna get back to this, but let me break that out. Give me the scripture. Look in 1 Samuel. Bring the scripture. Look in 1 Samuel. And this happens a lot, so don't worry about it. We'll be on one thing and people talk about the. Get me Samuel, and find me Samuel looking to anoint a new king. Going to Jesse looking to anoint a new king. Matter of fact, don't even give me that. Give me Goliath. Saul looking for somebody to go fight Goliath. Get me that. Get me what Saul is looking for somebody to go fight these damn Philistines. You know, Goliath standing out there acting a damn fool. You see. And Israel is shaking in their boots. Now, if you got weak leaders in Israel, Israel is weak. It's amazing how we attach ourselves so closely to our leaders. If we got foolish leaders among so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the people gonna appear to be foolish. You see that?
Shalaki out of 1 Samuel 17:1.
What you got?
Now the Philistines gathered together their armies to battle and to gather together at Shiloh, which belonged to Judah, and pitched between.
Go down a few verses. I'm gonna get straight to where Goliath is out there clowning. Give me the scripture. I'm talking about Goliath should have been the word you put in there. Goliath. Goliath. That's what you want to put in your concordance. Is Goliath.
Okay, I gotta go back out of 1 Slakia.
But while the brother pulling that scripture, Goliath is a Philistine, and he's a man of great stature. He's a shack. You see what I'm saying? He a shack, a big man. Philistines were Africans, were Cushites. So this a big man. He over there talking garbage because what? Nobody in Israel's army wanted to fight them. Saul, the captains of the armies, they scared. They don't want to fight this. They think they're gonna lose. And there's a boy, a teenager that's out tending his father's livestock. Sheep, camel, you know what I'm saying? If you notice, David didn't mess with no pig, but sheep, camel, all the goats, stuff like that. And he has an occasion because David has older brothers. David is the youngest son. He has older brothers. And they are all in the what? In the army. And they out there. And David had he had an occasion to visit his brothers on the front line.
Uncircumcised Philistine.
He had an occasion to visit his brothers on the front line. Here he is, he's a teenager coming in, get to go see his brothers in the army. Now, I've been there. So, that's a big deal. For my little nephew or little cousin, if I'm down in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, Fort Knox, if I'm in down in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, you see, and somebody from the countryside of my family or the city side of my family, never seen how the military operates, gets to come visit me on post. You see, doing my thing. That's a big thing. So this was a big deal to David to go visit his brothers. But when David got there, he happened to witness and hear this Philistine talking trash against Israel and against the Most High. You got that scripture yet?
Sir, I'm still trying to find it.
Okay, let me
I
pull
need
it.
a little help. I don't want to.
Okay, I'll pull it.
And the Philistine said, I defy the armies of Israel today.
Read that. Tell me where you at.
I'm at Samuel 17 and 10.
Okay, read that.
And the Philistine said, I defy the army of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together.
This is what David ran into. This Philistine, this champion of the Philistines, this African, is talking trash. Keep reading.
Verse 11. When Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistine, they were dismayed.
They were dismayed. Read.
And greatly afraid.
And greatly afraid. You see, Israel is the type of people that whatever the disposition, what is the countenance of the leader? Saul was the king, and his countenance was that of somebody being afraid. And guess what? That makes all of Israel afraid because Saul is afraid. Read.
Verse 12. Now David.
Now who?
Now David, the son of Ephronite.
The who?
Son of that Ephronite.
Ephronite. Read.
Of I want to say Bethlehem, Judah.
Go ahead.
Bethlehem,
read.
Judah.
Correct.
Whose
read.
name was Jesse.
Okay. David's father's name was Jesse. And when they said where he from, Bethlehem, Judah, he was a Judite, okay? He was a Judite. Read.
And he had 8 sons.
8 sons. Read.
And the man went amongst men for an old man in all the days of Saul.
Read.
Verse 13. And the third eldest son of Jesse went and followed Saul to the battle.
To the battle. Go ahead.
And the names of the 3 sons that went to the battle
3 of David's older brothers. Read.
were Elam, the firstborn, and next unto him was Abaniah.
Read.
And the third was Shema.
Okay, so we got 3 of David's older brothers that's in the army. That's what it means by it went and followed Saul. They joined the army. All right, skip down and show me where David's coming there and want to ask about what the hell going on.
Verse 20. And David rose up early in the morning.
Give me full chapter, verse, and book. First book and
1 Samuel, verse 17. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 20.
Read.
And David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep with a keeper.
Now, David was out previously taking care of his father's flock. Now, he didn't work by himself, but since he was a son, he was the boss out there with the flock. So he told one of his boys, look at here, y'all keep this, I'll be back. Read.
And took and went, and Jesse commanded him, and had, and he came to the trenches as the host was going forth to fight, and shouted for the battle.
Read.
Verse 21. For Israel and the Philistines had put the battle in array, army against army. And 22. Verse 22, and David left his carriage in the hands of a keeper and of the carriage and ran into the army and came and saluted his brother.
See, David caught up with his brothers. It's just that where David caught up with his brothers, they was actually on the battlefield. That's why I say in the trenches. Okay, there was some space between the two armies, but David came up here and caught up with his brothers. Read.
Verse 23, and as he talked with them,
As he talked with his brothers. Now he kicking it with his brothers. Read.
behold, there came up.
Watch this. They said, behold. That means pay attention. Look up. Watch this. Read.
There came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath. Of Gath.
Of Gath.
Goliath.
His name was Goliath. There, while David kicking it with his brothers on the front line, up jumps Goliath, come out on the battlefield. Read.
By name out of the army of the Philistines.
Keep reading.
And spake according to them.
And did what?
And spake according
Spell
to.
that word, spake.
Spake, S-P-A, and spake, S-P-A-K-E.
Spake, and he spake. Read.
Accordingly to the same word, and David heard them.
Read.
And all the men of Israel, when they saw the men, fled from him.
See, the army, Saul is the king. He's afraid. So what? The men up under Saul, his army, they're afraid. They see this giant, and what they do? They run. They come back off the battlefield. Read.
And were so afraid. So afraid.
Skip down to where David got something to say about this shit.
Verse 26. And David spake to the men
David,
that
what to the
stood
men?
with him. David spake to the men that stood with him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine?
Hold on. What men were David standing with?
It's like if I'm shot, man, when he was speaking with the army,
Lie.
his brothers.
His brothers. Don't blurt it out. If I say lie, don't blurt it out like that.
It's like
Because somebody else might have it, you know. But he was talking with his brothers. He's around his brothers who are members of the army. But he's talking to these men that he's around them, his brothers. He said, what shall be done to the man that what?
killeth this Philistine.
Back up a little bit. Did David have anything to say about what the Philistine had to say? Give me a couple of verses before that.
Verse 22. And David left his carriage in the hands of a keeper.
Come down, verse 24. Give me 24.
24. Come on, sir. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him.
Verse 25.
25, sir. And the men of Israel said, have ye seen this man that is come up?
Look at that. Read.
Surely to defy Israel is he come up.
He's come up. There when he said that Goliath is here to defy Israel. Verse 26.
Verse 26. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine?
Now David may be the youngest son, and all his brothers may be over him, right? But David is not anybody's fool. He said, now wait a minute. Wait a minute. He got all of the army of Israel scared. If David can figure in his mind already, if I can kill this son, something good gonna happen. Read.
What shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach of Israel?
Read.
For who is this uncircumcised
Now,
Philistine?
listen. Now David is finna show you what's really in his heart. Okay? David's finna show you what's really in his heart. It pissed him off. I mean, he was pissed off to the umpteenth festivity. You see what I'm saying?
Sir.
It pissed him off. He say, read.
That he should defy the army of
Back
the
up.
living God.
Back up,
sir.
one sentence.
One sentence. Okay. What shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, that taketh away the reproach of Israel?
Take away the reproach. Reproach. Look that word up. Can you look that up on your phone? The word reproach. What is reproach? I bet you when you come up to it, it's going to say something like shame. See, it was a shame that when he walked out here talking smack, when Goliath talked smack against Israel. Go ahead, Vance. What you got?
Reproach means address someone in such a way as to express disapproval or disappointment. You know,
Keep going.
that isn't true. He reproached her.
He reproached her.
Or the expression of disapproval or disappointment.
Is that reproach with the ED or just ending in CH?
CH.
CH. What's the synonyms for reproach?
Um,
Synonyms, so you'll know, is words that mean the same thing. See if a synonym for reproach, see if there's a shame, the word shame is in there. You see. Because you see this again, in that day, shall 7 women take hold of one man. And what does it say? Take away our reproach. Just marry us and take away our reproach. Take away our what? Is the synonym for reproach is a word called shame. Are they synonyms? That's what we're trying to find out. According to the dictionary. And I think you're going to find out that they are.
Disgrace.
Or you can put the word in your search, put reproach, and then put SYN and click it. That's going to give you the synonyms for reproach.
Oh yeah, you said the word was, okay. It's a disgrace.
Disgrace.
Yeah, disgrace. The synonym for reproach is disgrace.
Disgrace. So take away the disgrace of Israel.
Come on, sir.
So read. So disgrace, if you're disgraced, you're shamed, right? Same difference.
4, sluck at 1.
Read.
And taketh away the reproach of Israel.
Take away the disgrace of Israel. Why were they disgraced? Because what? They running from this damn African. Read. From this Philistine.
For who is this uncircumcised Philistine?
David got a problem because he trusts the Most High explicitly. He want to know who is this uncircumcised. That already make him a nasty bastard in David's eyes. He uncircumcised. That already make him a nasty bastard. This uncircumcised Philistine, African, read.
That he should defy.
That he should open his goddamn mouth, read.
The army of the living God.
Against the army of the living God. Read.
Verse 27. And the people answered him after this manner, saying.
His brothers, the brother and the other members of the army around him, read.
So shall it be done to the man that killeth him. And, verse 28, and Elba, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the man. Answer Elba's anger was kindled against David.
See that?
And he said,
hold up. Slowly roll.
Come on.
You see that? This is his own brother. David said, hey, what's going to happen if I go out and kill this bastard? Or whoever go out here and kill him? His brother get upset. Why? Because that's the little brother. That's little David. David ain't really got no business up here. He was supposed to be up here on the sightseeing tour. He's supposed to see how strong and tough we are. You see? Read.
And he said, why camest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness?
Let's hold on. What the brother asked earlier, was David rich? He had his father's sheep, and his brother that said those few sheep. So it must not have been a big flock. Okay? So David is not coming from what? A rich background. David wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He was a damn sheep herder. Read.
I know that, I know thy pride and thy naughtiness of thy heart.
Okay, read.
For thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle. Thou come down that thou mightest see the battle.
Okay, and that's what teenage boys do. They want to see what the hell going on. They want to see some exciting shit. You see, and it's pissing his brother off. Skip down some. I want you to go to where David is talking about fighting Goliath. Skip down to where David started talking about fighting Goliath.
It's like out of one, verse 32. And David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Thou servant will go out and fight with this Philistine.
Boom, here it is. David comes from a few sheep. He comes down to see his brothers, visit his brothers in the army. They facing the Philistines. And when he down there, whoa, here's this big mouth, shack looking son bitch over here, excuse my language, this big mouth son gun African over here talking cash trash. But David is, his brother called him arrogant. His brother thinks he's arrogant. But understand, David, while his brother's been off learning to be a soldier, David been keeping his father's sheep. And I'm gonna cut through the chase so we can get back to the class. In protecting his father's flocks, David has to fight predators of sheep, predators of goat. Those predators consist of lions, bears, wolves, anything out there on four legs that are carnivorous, that eat meat. Sheep are the most humble and easy prey on the face of the earth. David is the protector of those sheep. And in protecting those sheep, if you keep on reading, and I suggest everybody do that, keep on reading. David had to fight bears. David had to fight lions. David had to fight wolves. You see that? And he used a slingshot. And he became deadly protecting sheep, literal sheep. He became deadly with this slingshot. You see that? And so he's just a humble slingshot carrying shepherd boy when he runs into Goliath. He talk enough trash and he gets in front of Saul, the king of all of Israel, and said, I'll go. Saul don't think he can win, but Saul lets him go. And the story, well, the Bible teaches us that David what? Pops him in the head with one of them rocks, drops him, runs up to him, takes his own sword and cut his head off. And therefore, that's where David got his first wife from. Because the prize was that whoever killed Goliath would have Michal, Saul's daughter, for wife. Now, if you just married the king's daughter, you're not poor no more. You see what I'm saying? He went from a shepherd to being the king's son-in-law.
That's exactly what I meant. Like, I didn't necessarily mean, was he born rich or wealthy or whatever, but just the idea, like, he had a fire in him. He had a certain type of fire in him to be bigger than what he was when he was born.
All of us are bigger than what we are. It's whether or not we ascribe to these laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. You see that? As long as we seeking to please the Most High by keeping His laws, statutes, commandments, we're going to be bigger than anything anybody else in our family think we might be. You see that? And we living in that type of time again. And I guarantee you, it's going to be your family members that come to you and say, what in the hell you think you can pull that off in this time of Donald Trump, in this time of Joe Biden and the coronavirus? Who the hell do you think you are that you dare? You see, but we're going to get back to the class. We're so far off track right now. Salakia, sisters, Salakia, brothers and sisters. Akim and Akwathium, Salakia. We so far off the class, but I wanted to bring that out because that makes a lot of sense. It's important to understand who we are from every aspect, you see. At that point, it makes sense that David would have his own mark. You see what I'm saying?
What kind, sir?
Anybody, watch this, anybody could travel throughout the land and say, I'm David. I'm David. I'm the one that killed him. Oh, he's famous now. So it makes sense for him to
Have his own mark.
create his own mark. You see that even before he's king. But this lets you know how it doesn't matter what some other human being thinks of it. You see what I'm saying? It's a good thing. It's good. It's a good thing to be learning this Lashawan Qadash, the holy word. This is the same language we're going to be speaking when Yahweh comes back.
Come on, sir.
See that same? It's the same language we're going to be writing when Yahweh comes back. And watch this. The more you study the Lashawan Qadash, the more you'll understand why we speak the way we speak. Especially Judah, because we got what they call in linguistic a lazy tongue.
Come.
You see what I'm saying? We're going to, instead of saying the, we're going to say the. You hear what I'm saying?
Come on, sir.
A TH going to be pronounced like a DA a whole lot of time. And we call that lay. And they try to get us to pronounce things properly and sound like white people. We should never do that. The language is so important that in our neighborhood, what do they call it? Ebonics.
Come.
That's black English. Ebonics ain't nothing but black English. It's black English. They call it Ebonics. I remember when I was not in the truth, how I was one of them niggas, I'm gonna tell you straight, I was one of them niggas, you say, conversate in front of me if you want to. Look at here, if you said that word conversate, look, I was gonna lose my mind, but since being in the truth, guess what I learned? That's the way niggas talk. We make up words as we go, and guess what? Expect everybody, every other nigga to know what we talking about, and here's the real deal. Every other nigga do know what we talking about.
Come, sir.
You see what I'm saying?
Come.
They do know what we're talking about because we speak that way. Why? Look, this is our original language, the Lashawan Qadash. And the way we talk, our elocution, is that what they call it? Our elocution haven't changed in about 3,500 years. It has not changed in 30. I used to think I sound like a country bumpkin. But I just sound like another Israelite. I'm going to tell you, that's what it really is. I just sound like another Israelite when I speak English. You sound like another Israelite when you speak English. You see, and that's the real deal. But let's get back to this. We're going back because we got to at least get through this, and I want to get to how we put our letters together to make words.
Come.
Okay. So, what time we got?
It's 3:59 out of one.
Okay. All right. Almost 4. It's 4 o'clock. So I'm gonna run about another 30 minutes. Then we're gonna get out of here.
Come, sir.
Ba. Ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, ta, ya. All right? You want to write them down. You want to make sure you have them. You want to practice them every day.
Come.
I'm going to erase this. If you don't have it written down, shame on you. Because I'm going to sit up here and got the scripture breakdown class and walk through David and all that. So, where do we leave off? We're leaving off with Yah, right? We're leaving off with Yah. Is that correct? Okay. After the Yah, we got the, remember I said, you got the ka. The next one after that, Yah, is this one. That's the ka. Don't get those two mixed up. You got the ka, the la, the ma, the na. I'm going to come back and put the pronunciation on them. Now this is real interesting. You know how I remember these so fast? You see I didn't look up for that, right? You know how I remember that?
It's a similar.
K-L-M-N. See what I'm saying?
K-L-M-N.
This is the ka, this is the la, this is the ma, this is the na. K-L-M-N in the American alphabet, right? And from the na, we go to the what? We go to the sa, right? After the sa, then we got the I, then we got the pa, then we got the taza. You better not forget this one. That's the easiest one in the world to remember right there. Taza. The taza. You got that? After taza, got one of my favorite letters, that's the qua. What's the first letter in what? Qadash. That's the qua. The qua.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go down here. I'm going to keep it going, get it to the end. Then you got the ra. See that? And we precise. There's no tail on the end of that. Got the ra, the sha, and the tha. The tha, well, I tell you not to confuse that with the ta.
Oh, ta.
If I want to make it a ta, that's what I'll do. That makes it a ta. All right? But the last one is the tha. Okay? That's our entire alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
Write it. Now we're finna make some words. How about that?
Come on, concert.
You got to, we got to do this every week. You got to be on, whether I'm teaching it this way at the board, or whether I'm online teaching it using a computer program. You have to do this every week. 3 o'clock on Fridays till 5 o'clock. That's what we scheduled for. All right? Everybody got that?
Good,
All right. Now, if you're with me next week, you're gonna get up here and do some writing.
Concert.
If you're with me next week, you're gonna get up here and do some writing. That's for sure. Any sisters out there, any brothers out there, if you can make it to class, since we're gonna start doing this class more and more at the school, we're gonna start doing this class more and more at the school. Feel free to come on down to the school and you can do your writing on the board yourself. Now, up top, we got the Lashawan Qadash. Now, I'm finna teach you about something. This is what I'm finna teach you about right here. See that right there? Looks like a V, right? It's not a V. It's called a connector. It is connecting one character to the next character. One character to the next character. Why is that important? That is important because, and then, guess what? You won't see it all the time, but once you study this long enough, you'll know where they seem to go because the word won't even sound right saying it that way. What this connector does, it gives you, it causes the second letter, the second character to take on what I call a soft sound. A soft sound. Now, this is the na. That's the na right there, right? That's the na. Okay, that's the na. But the soft sound of the na would be, what would you think the soft sound of the na would be?
Oh, nah.
The soft sound for the na, what would it be?
None.
That's right. Like, name, that's hard, nah. But it's a long A in America, or nothing, that hard N. But, watch this, prince, prince, that in there. So what you got is a soft sound, which is the You see what I'm saying?
Oh, concert.
So this is the Y, and so instead of this being Y na, you see that? You see that? This is the Y. This letter right here is the Y. Without that connector, this would be Y na. You got that? But because this is connected, the sound is now soft, so it's wan.
One.
And not wana. This is la, no connector, right? This is sha, la, sha, wa, disconnected, la, sha, wan. Okay? La, sha, wan. Now watch it. If this were connected, this would be lash. Not la, sha. You see that? That would be lash. Lash, wan. But that's not what it is. Take the connection away, la, sha. Everybody understand that?
Come on, concert.
Okay, you got that? So this is qua, this is the da, and this is the sha. So how is this pronounced right here? Go ahead.
Qadash.
Qadash. This is dash. You see that? Now, some people get real particular and put a dot. It's not necessary. If you don't see this, then you know it gets its hard sound. It gets its original sound. A, ba, ga, da, ha, ba, za, ha, ta, ya, ka. It gets its original sound. No matter where it appears in the word, if it's not connected, it gets its original sound, which is all what I call the hard sound. You with me? Any questions? You with me, Van?
It's kind of, I'm with you, it's kind of fast, but I'm kind of following.
Well,
Like,
here's the good part, I promise you, you just got the hardest of it, right there. You got the hardest of it right there. Hebrew gets no more complicated than that. If you can understand that each letter in the Hebrew has two sounds, a hard sound and a soft sound. You see what I'm saying? A hard sound and a soft sound. When two letters are connected, and I've not yet seen three connected, when two letters are connected, the second letter always gets the soft sound.
do another example.
Another, okay.
And don't say that.
Okay.
No, just that's that.
Yeah, I'm gonna erase this, so give us some room. Give us some room. Now, this is how I like to teach. Because you're gonna learn more than one thing at a time while we answering your question. I had a folder. This is not it.
That one?
This is it. Okay. That'll work. That'll be okay.
I don't want to look at it.
I got it. I got
No
that.
comment, sir.
Okay. Is that right? I don't know if that's right. No, that's not right. Not you.
No comment, sir.
Not you. That right?
Yeah.
I think I got that right.
That's right.
There you go. I hear you.
Okay, from right to left, I would be reading Yahweh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Ha.
Wa.
Uh-huh.
And Shii.
Say it again.
Shii.
Pull it together.
Shii.
Not Shia. So remember, let's get the last, to get that sound. Just put them two together. You so close. Shy.
No comment, sir.
Shy.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shah. Who's Yahweh Shah? Yahweh Shah is your king.
Yahweh Shai.
You see how, like I say, it looks hard. It is not.
Yeah, I think it's easy.
This is not hard. Some brothers, some of y'all brothers gonna turn out to be way better than me and some more brothers that teach this, right? You see how quickly you got that? And this is your what, 15th class?
No, it's my first class.
This is your
English.
very first class
In the
in the Lashawan Qadash. And the brother stood up there and read Yahweh Shai. Why are we running from our own language? It's that easy. We don't need to run from our own language, all right? Now, and we're gonna keep it going. So what I'm gonna do at this point, I'm gonna hold this, and oh no, we're gonna do a little bit of vocabulary, almost. Is that what I want? Okay, here we go. And this is for the brothers here in the classroom. See, brothers are fairly new to the class. And the brothers and sisters that's online that have been with us a long time, y'all already know how to do this, right? All righty. Take a look at it. You got your examples up here. Remember what this means. What's this is a ma. I'm gonna give that to you. This is a ma, right? What was a ma? What would be the soft sound of a ma? For the remember a ma. That say again. All right. So let's read this, my brothers. Y'all can read this. What's this right here?
Nah.
Say it. Don't think. Read what you see. Not you said what you said. What you say this is? Abanawa. Now, when we say Abanawa, what is that? You've heard that someplace. If you ever attended a Sabbath service, you heard that word in the Sabbath service. See how easy this is? Abanawa. It begins what? Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim. What is that the beginning of?
Our Father, which art in heaven.
Our Father. It's the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa. You just said our Father. You see that? You just began the Lord's Prayer. Read. Shah. Shabbat. Shabasha. Ma. Shabashama. Shabashama. See that letter right there? That's the what? And this is the what? Shabashama. This is the Yah, right? But it's connected to a Ma, right?
I'm disappointed because we just said it. Yama, so
you already got this one, Abanawa. This is easy because what? No connectors. Okay, so up until the end, there is no connector. So what?
Shaba.
Ba, not ba, No,
Shaba.
Everything is Shaba.
Shaba.
Ma, right? Shaba, Shama.
Shaba.
And this is a what? What is this right here?
That's Yah.
Yah, and this is a what?
That's
a Ma. Right. What's the soft sound of a Ma? All right. So if you got the Yah,
it's Shaba Shemawa.
You gotta put the read.
Shemawa.
Say it again.
Shaba Shemawa.
Shaba Shema.
Shaba Shemayim. Shaba Shemayim.
Shaba Shemayim. So that's Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
You see that? Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim. That's the beginning of the Lord's Prayer. You will hear that again. You will hear that again. Let's try something else. Let's try something else. What we got here? We got now I may have it spelt wrong. Watch this. Y'all can try to figure it out. Don't say anything until I finish writing.
Come on, sir.
All right. Take a look at that. And when you got all three, let me know what it is. When you got all three, let me know what it is.
last one already.
Last one, she really should be.
I got the last one already.
Who's ready?
I'm
Shalom to the sister. I see Sister Kappa was in the class today. All right, y'all ready?
Come on. Can I get 30 more seconds out of one?
Get 30 seconds. What time is it? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna shut it down. In less than 15 minutes.
Come on, sir. I think I got it out of one.
Okay, I want to hear from Vince. What you got, Vince?
I have Zaraka.
Ah? So who? Let me see. You actually pronounced that. You actually pronounced that right. So I'm gonna change it. You actually pronounced it the way I have it. You pronounced it right. Now what do you have?
What our captain name?
Zarak.
Okay.
I have Zarak. Labana.
Who? Do you see a connection?
Zarak Labana.
What's the second one? Do you see a connector in there?
Yes.
Okay. So the nah, that hard sound, the ah at the end is always the hard sound. You don't want that at the end.
Okay.
What letter is at the end of that word?
Laban.
Say again.
Zarak Laban.
No, I want you to give them to me. Don't put them together. Each one of those is an individual word. What's the first one?
The first one is Zarak.
Khan, that's true. Don't blurt out like that.
It's like y'all.
But it's Zarak. I want to hear that. I want to hear that. Khan. Zarak.
Okay.
Right. What's the next one?
The next one is Laban.
Laban. Right. Absolutely right. And the last one is?
Qadash.
Who?
Qadash.
No, that's not correct. What's the last one?
It's like y'all. I thought it was.
This is what you just said. That's what you just said. It's not the same word. What you say?
Qadash.
Qadash. That's the way niggas speak. We say Qadash. I know the brother. That's Qadash, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's Qadash.
But that's what they say. Qua. So you have to have the pronunciation.
Qua.
Okay.
As opposed to ka.
Okay.
You see
Okay.
that?
Okay.
You see what I'm
That's
saying?
how niggas
Come on, sir.
You see. That's why I wrote down what you said. I'll listen to what you say. I'm gonna write what you say. Okay. I'm gonna write what you say.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, this is so much fun, and it's so easy. You're gonna be reading, and the reason we do this, one of the things you're gonna do is you're gonna be reading at the Sabbath service. And let me show y'all something. Let me show you something. When you see a brother up there reading the Hebrew, you see this right here? This is the Lord's Prayer. See that?
Yes.
You can look at that and you can say, Abawana, Shabbat Shemayim, Qadash, Hayah, Shamka. Because you see what? English letters.
Mm-hmm.
That's, and show the brothers, show the sisters out there, brothers and sisters out there. This is the Hebrew for the Lord's Prayer right here. However, it's not written in the Lashawan Qadash. It's written with English letters. When you read scriptures up here, the Sabbath service, this is what you read. And you should have went here first. You should have went right over here, not over here. You see what I'm saying?
Come on, sir.
See, when I'm saying, when you read on the Sabbath, this is what you read. You see? And you start over here, not over here. You see, and so you read from here to here. This is what you're learning. You get a little closer, a little closer. This is what you learn. That's the Lashawan Qadash. And it is amazing, and I think all of us are gifted to be able to learn our own language.
Come on,
I think every last one of us are gifted to learn our own language. Don't you think English is your second language, damn it? That's what I'm gonna tell you. English is your second language. Don't you ever think of English as a first language. Never, no more. English is your second language. And I just went back in my head to the military when many times they tried to get me to go up to Monterey, California to their language school because they wanted me to speak other languages, because having gone across overseas and was able on my own to negotiate the Korean peninsula, and I only went there speaking English at 17, but could go anywhere in Korea because I understood enough of their language just by listening to it and could speak enough of their language. They said, oh, you talented, and I just ran from that. But I see what the Most High is setting us up for, because we have another language. It's called the Lashawan Qadash. It is our first language. It's our first language, and we should learn it, you know. At work, it tickles me. Cap would be over here, even when Officer Qadash worked with us, they'd be over there and they'd holler something across the way. You may say something to Zarak, and Zarak will holler back, Khan, I don't want Khan, or he would holler back, La, I don't want. And everybody like, what the hell? And if you weren't one of us, if you were not an Israelite, if you were not in the Detroit school, or you were not in the ISUP, you have no idea what we're talking about. You see what I'm saying? They have no idea what Khan, I don't want Khan, but we said Khan Khan. We said Khan Khan, you know. Khan, I don't want Khan means, you know, or Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shalom, you know, a Shalom. They think they know it, they say Shalom, but they think they know. But this right here, today is more of a inspirational class. Next week, we're gonna be more functional. I expect everybody to come to class physically, pen, paper, something to write on, and expect to get up here and do some writing on the board.
Sir.
Any questions? So we get ready to shut it down. Any questions? All right. And with that, I'm gonna ask. No, I'm not. With that, I'm gonna say Shalom, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shabaraka. Thumb to my brothers, and I'm gonna say Shalom, Yahweh Shema Alatha Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shah to my sisters. Shalom, Israel.
I don't want to get somebody at the door to go and check it.
It's a lady.
What's the young lady?
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, young lady. You be doing push-ups.
Cut him a kind, sir.
Is it okay if I take a picture of this?
Hey, girl. How you doing? How you been?
Is it okay if I take a picture of this?
Is y'all still live?
No, you can't.
I shut it down.
Well, y'all, you do, go ahead. Just don't go up there. You
No,
can't
no,
stand
no.
up.
He can go up there, but you have to
No,
be
that's fine. I
off.
just want to take a
If
picture.
he just
Come on.
take a picture.
Come on, sir.
I'm up to take a ride and then I'll come back.
I was gonna lock it down. We're closed up. I lock it down. You got your keys and everything, right?
Yeah, but I'm about to take my outfit out of the car and change my clothes real quick.
You gotta work tonight, You gotta work tonight?
I gotta work every night.
Let's pull this down.
Cut him a
Don't
kind, sir.
set that microphone back up. Like, what you wanna do is.
Reset the class like it was before I found it. Come on.
Cut him a kind. I got my crate over here.
That way I ain't sitting up. You know
Don't worry about the crate. Just take this whole table and
You
shoot it
know,
over
I'll be
there.
sitting on the computer writing my shot like, damn, why the camera ain't working?
These other ones. Put them in the back.
Can we throw these over there with your stuff? Cause I don't want them to
I don't want
disappear.
nothing over here.
I can put it next door, other one.
They're gonna
You
disappear.
can put it up here at the desk up there on that ledge.
Put this whole desk, keep all this together.
I don't
Listen,
want
listen,
nobody
put
to
it right
put
up
nothing
there.
over here.
We taking the chairs
We're gonna
Live.
leave it here, sir.
How you been, girl? How you been? See, you been to the movie shop, got your hair all pressed and laid.
I want it. Is this good?
Okay, it's awesome.
Is this good?
That's good.
Come on, sir.
We had some room in here, but we could put them in here, marker. That's about the only thing that can go over here is pens and markers.
That's all I want.
And all that other stuff. And people trying to charge their